Students, I am Manoj Kundare, the Assistant Professor of Electronic Science. Welcome back to our e-learning platform. In this video, we are going to start the fourth unit of the subject, Basics of Computer Organization. The name of fourth unit is the Memory Organization in Computer Architecture. Let's start our today's topic, the memory architecture, or what is the memory architecture. The memory architecture describes the methods used to implement electronic computer data storage in a manner that is a combination of fastest, most reliable, most durable, and least expensive way to store and retrieve information. We know that this memory are the storage device used in computer system, and there are different types of memories. These memories are organized in a memory or in a computer system. This organization is depends on the properties of the memories like the fastest, most reliable, most durable, and least expensive. Hence, the memories are classified or organized according to these parameters. Okay. The memory architecture works to ensure that the computer has a blend of all types of memory, keeping the computer's hardware as balanced and cost efficient as possible. Memory architecture also explains how binary digits are converted into electrical signals and then stored in the memory cells, and also the structure of memory cell. We know that the memory architecture or the memory stores the binary values, and these values are in the form of electrical signals like voltage or current. Okay, here these values are stored in electronic devices like flip-flops. The memory architecture is describes also the structure of the memory cell. Let's see the structure of typical memory. In this diagram, we can see there the memory m by n bits. Here, m are the address lines, n are the data lines. The data may be input or output, and there are control lines. The n data lines, that means these data lines are bidirectional. Here, the arrow is in bidirectional manner. It implying that the same lines can send or receive data. That means from these data lines we can send or we can receive data, hence it's shown in bidirectional arrow. Similarly, the m address lines are unidirectional. Here the address lines are unidirectional because CPU gives address to store the data in memory location. Hence, it always generated from CPU. Therefore, the address lines are always unidirectional in nature. Okay, and there are control lines which are originating from the control unit of the CPU. I hope you all understand the structure of typical memory. Let's understand what is here m by n memory. Okay, let's see. A typical memory consists of large number of cells organized as a matrix of m by n. Here, m represents the number of memory words, or we can see that, or we can say that m is the number of memory locations, and n represents the size of each memory word, that is the number of bits. That means in short we can see that here the m is the number of memory location and n is the number of bits. Let's see one example here. For example, a 4K by 8 memory consists of 4K, that is 4096 memory locations storing 8 bits or 1 byte of data. That means here is 4K is the number of locations and 8 is the size of the data. That means it is of 8 bit, or we can say that it is 1 byte of data. So 4K by 8 memory is also referred to as 4 kilobyte memory. I hope you all understand what is meant by M by N. Let's see once again. Here the M by N memory means M represents the number of memory locations and N represents the number of bits. Okay, that means in this example 4K by 8, here 4K are the memory locations. That means there are 4096 memory locations, and 8 is the number of bits. That means there are 8 bits, and we know that 8 bits means 1 byte. Therefore we can also say the 4K by 8 memory location or the memory is also referred as the 4 kilobyte memory. I hope now you all understand what is M by N memory. In 4K by 8 memory, the number of words or locations are 4K. To address these locations, we require an unique address. The number of address bits is given by, we know that there is a 4K by 8 memory which has the 4K memory locations. To access these 4K memory locations, the CPU requires the address of these locations, and the CPU sends address of these locations through the address bus. Now the question arises, what is the length of this address bus, or how many bits are required to access these 4K memory locations? Here is the simple calculation for the number of address bits. Here let's see, 2 raised to number of address bits is equal to number of words. Okay, here the number of word is 4K. That means here the number of word is 4K. Hence we put the value 2 raised to number of address bits is equal to 4K. That means 4 into 1K. 4 means 2 raised to 2 and 1K means 2 raised to 10. That means 2 raised to 2 into 2 raised to 10 is equal to 2 raised to 12. Here 2 raised to 12, that means 2 raised to number of address bits is equal to 2 raised to 12. That means the number of address bits is equal to 12. I hope you all understand how we calculate the number of address bits. Let's see once again. In 4K by 8 memory, here 4K is the number of words. Okay, and here the number of word is 4K. Therefore our formula becomes 2 raised to number of address bits is equal to 4K. The 4K is equal to 4 into 1K. Here 4 means 2 raised to 2 and 1K means, that means 1024. That means 2 raised to 10. Okay, I hope you all know this calculation. That means we get 2 raised to 2 into 2 raised to 10, that is 2 raised to 12. Here we get 2 raised to number of address bits is equal to 2 raised to 12. That means the number of address bits are 12. I hope you all understand these calculations and how to calculate the number of address bits. Okay. Now let's see the internal architecture of the typical memory. This is the internal architecture of the typical memory, in which we can see here that this is the memory having M locations. There is the address lines and the address decoder, N data inputs lines and input buffers. Similarly, N data output lines and the output buffers. Similarly, in this diagram we can see that there are two gates which have the lines WR, that means write, RD means read, and CS means chip select. That means in this diagram we have the write pin, read pin and the chip select pin, and the two AND gates, AND gate 1 and gate 2. The AND gate 1 is connected to the input buffer. Similarly, AND gate 2 output is connected to the output buffers. Okay, and the address lines are connected to the memory through the address decoder. Now let's see the operation of this memory architecture. Here when CS is 1, that means when CS is 1, WR is 1 and RD is 0. That means here CS has the value 1, WR has the value 1 and RD has the value 0. Then the output of NAND gate, this NAND gate is 1 and the output of NAND gate 2, output of AND gate 2 is 0. Let's see once again. Here the chip select has the value 1, write has the value 1 and read has the value 0. Therefore the gate 1 has the output 1 and gate 2 has output 0. Okay. Therefore the input buffers are enabled because the gate 1 has the value 1. Okay. So the data is stored or written into the address location. Here input buffers are enabled so we can store or the write data into the memory through n data input lines. Similarly, we can see when CS is equal to 1, WR equal to 0 and read equal to 1, then the output of gate 2 is 1 and output of gate 1 is 0. Hence, here now the output buffers are enabled and so data is read out through n data output lines. Okay, here is the operation is very simple. Let's see once again. Here if CS has the value 1 and write has the value 1, read has the value 0, then the output of gate 1 is 1 and output of gate 2 is 0. Therefore input buffers are enabled and data is stored into the memory locations through input buffers. Similarly, if CS has the value 1, read has the value 1 and write has the value 0, then output of gate 2 is 1 and the output buffers are enabled and we can read out the data from the memory. I hope you all understand the operations here. Thank you.